like first, on my behalf and behalf of you all as guests, to express our gratitude to the abbot of this vihara for his very warm welcome. And secondly, to express respect to the representative of the Supreme Thai Buddhist Sangha, and recognition to the representatives of the Thai government here. It's been a great privilege to be asked to speak at this event, which is also the first anniversary of this vihara. Phil Henry, who just spoke, invited me to do so, and Phil works at my university, the University of Derby, and has for many years been engaged as offering Buddhist faith advice within the context of the university, as himself a Buddhist practitioner. But Phil is also engaged in academic work in relation to Buddhism and its participation in the wider society, particularly looking at the theme of what's called engaged Buddhism. And this event today is precisely an example of that engagement. The importance of it is what was outlined for us in our first MC who spoke earlier, and that is that while there are many events of a multi-faith nature in which Buddhists have been invited to participate, to lead times of reflection among representatives from humanist associations and those who had a value orientation not based on religion as such, but nevertheless offering some shared ethical values and perspectives. So things have moved along in our three-dimensional society, and increasingly space has been opened up for religions to participate in public life. But the challenge then is, on what basis do religions participate? Because sometimes one of the byproducts of giving space to religions to contribute is that they can sometimes do so more with a view to their own self-interest than with a view to the common good. Sometimes representing and advancing their own cause, and sometimes their own mistreatment within the wider society, and trying to rectify that, and that's an issue that has to be addressed. But the emphasis can sometimes get into that in a kind of competitive way between different religions. One of the dangers of asking a religion question in a census is that people can then get drawn into the game of, so to speak, my religion is bigger than yours. We have more followers, therefore what we have to say should be listened to more carefully than what they who have less followers have to say. And one can very easily, and one can see how this happens in different parts of the world, when there are social conditions that then are created where there are other kinds of tensions around, religions can all too easily fall into the trap, not of being true to the integrity of the sources of their inspiration, but rather becoming a kind of communalistic expression, which then sets one group of people over and against another group of people. How this can happen is very carefully and helpfully, I think, illustrated in some work that was done by activists in Northern Ireland in the context of religious tension and conflict there. And they wrote a book called Moving Beyond Sectarianism, Religion, Conflict and Reconciliation, and they identified what they called a scale of sectarian danger, or you could call it a scale of communalist danger. And it goes like this, and here's how the danger can escalate if one is not on one's guard against it. First of all, we are different. We behave differently. Okay? We are right. We are right, and you are wrong. You are a less adequate version of what we are. You are not what you say you are. We are in fact what you say you are. What you are doing is evil. You are so wrong that you forfeit ordinary rights. You are less than human. You are evil. You are demonic. That scale of sectarian danger can so easily slide from normal and ordinary recognition of difference into something that then becomes a basis for conflict, for fear, for mistrust between the religions, and therefore also destructive for society as a whole. And this was recognised many years ago. In fact, I just cite a particular scholar who comes out of my own Christian tradition originally, but then spent a life engaged in studying Buddhism with a great affinity for it, Trevor Ling, who in 1974 wrote an essay on communalism and the social structure of religion, which warned very clearly about those kind of dynamics and analysed those kind of dynamics that can all too easily grip hold of religions if they do not live, first of all, according to a modesty, second, according to an integrity in their tradition, third, according to a realism about what it is that they can and cannot contribute in the world, and finally, are not afraid to live distinctively. Because while it is important that religions all contribute to the common good, and do so with people of different religions and of none, there is something distinctive that religious traditions have to offer. And that distinctiveness I'm going to close with now in relation to some words offered a number of years ago by an Indian Christian theologian and former director of the World Council of Churches Dialogue Subunit, Stanley Samata. And he said this: "In an age dominated by science and secularism, one of the tasks of genuinely religious people is to draw attention to the mystery of transcendence, the centre of values, a source of meaning, an object of loyalty beyond the smaller loyalties to one's particular caste, language, or religion."